CU SoCal. I want to kick off today with two questions. How can we find more joy? And second, how can we find more fulfillment? We're going to take a shot at answering those two questions, and we're going to start with a question. What's your W? Strange question, isn't it? Two words are on the screen right now, and I'd like you to try to say those two words 3 times at whatever pace you feel comfortable with. Pretty difficult to do, isn't it? Now we're going to put those same 2 words on the screen, but we're going to take off the W in wristwatch, and I'd like to ask you to say those same 2 words without pronouncing the W in wristwatch. Not quite as difficult to say Irish wristwatch when you drop the W. This is the question. What in your life do you need to drop? What is your W? Are you making excuses because you feel like you have to achieve perfection before you take the next step to find more joy, to find more fulfillment? You might be thinking about getting in shape by jogging on a regular basis, but your W may be, I don't have running shoes. Well, then maybe you should go swimming. You may be at CU SoCal full of a lot of ideas on how we can build better lives for team members and members, but there's a procedure getting in your way, that procedure being the W. Maybe we need to drop that procedure. So forget perfection, get in the game. Let's talk for a moment about The Simpsons and how the writers, the producers, how they very much understood that they couldn't achieve perfection before launching the show. Watch this short video.
Look at The Simpsons from '89 and look at them today. Look at them, yo. Imagine if they spent years perfecting the art instead of releasing an episode. Will we have a legendary show or a legendary idea stuck in their drafts? How do you perfect your craft if you craft nothing? Every journey begins with one step. If you don't start walking, you won't reach your destination. Persistent perfection prevents production. Make it first, then make it right.
Isn't it amazing how things transform from the beginning of the Simpsons show to where we are now today? That's the case with whatever we need to do to fulfill our dreams. We need to just get going, and as we journey forward, make adjustments on the way, tune things up, but just take those first steps, which leads me to talk about Nike. Their slogan is just do it. It's not do it, that might be kind of rude. It's just do it. It's no excuses. Stop making excuses. Just do it. Think about where you were in life before COVID. Were you fulfilled? Were you joyful? Were you depressed? What was life like before COVID? As we transition out of COVID, will things go back to pre-COVID life? Will they be the same, or will things be different? My hope and belief is that all of us will act on what we're passionate about. Not only passionate about, but what we're both passionate and good at. But we need to be able to take those first steps. Now, some of you might be saying to yourselves, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to come up with an idea, or I have an idea, how can I take those first steps? I think part of the answer is looking at things differently, talking to friends, reading books to get ideas, to find ways to come up with new ideas and look at things differently. And I'll tell you, I've really learned a lot of lessons on how you can look at things differently and how you can do things differently in life. Let's take, for example, peeling a hard-boiled egg. It can be frustrating trying to peel off all the little shells, and they sometimes cut your fingers. But there's another way to peel a hard-boiled egg. Don't know if you know this or not. Some of you may be aware of this, but you can put an egg in a glass of water and put a lid on that glass, and then take that glass and shake it. and you can shake for about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. And you know what's going to happen? I think you can imagine. Most of the shell is going to naturally come off, and what's left to peel won't be that much. Okay, and there's my hard-boiled egg, and the shell just slides right off. So that is a different way of looking at things. Okay, so what's your W? What do you need to drop? What do you need to start doing differently? I want to end by telling you a story about a farmer. A farmer had an older donkey, and this donkey fell in a very deep well. And the farmer loved this donkey and tried for days to rescue him. He put a rope down and was able to climb down the well and tie it around the donkey, couldn't lift the donkey out. He asked his neighbors for help and still couldn't get the donkey out of the well. Finally, one of his neighbors told him that, you know, that's an older donkey. I think you're just going to have to bury that donkey. And this just broke the farmer's heart, but he realized he had no other choice. At least in his mind, he had no other choice. So several of the neighbors and the farmer, they started shoveling dirt inside the well. And after about 15, 20 minutes, the farmer looked down the well and saw something very interesting. The donkey was shaking the dirt off its back while braying and making that hee-haw sound. And as the dirt was coming off the donkey's back, the donkey was using its legs to compact the dirt. And slowly but surely, the donkey, as the dirt started to fill the well, the donkey was coming up closer to the surface, and ultimately, after many, many hours, the donkey walked right out of the well. Now, I can relate to that story both from the donkey's perspective and from the farmer's perspective, although I don't think as the farmer I could have ever buried that donkey alive. But from the donkey's perspective, my goodness, I would fight and fight like that donkey fought to save its life and to try to find a solution to survive. From the farmer's perspective, I would try everything imaginable to save that donkey, including getting help like he did from the neighbors. The solution, though, was one that I don't think anyone had thought of, and that was fill up the well with dirt and let the donkey do its work. So as you try to find more joy and more fulfillment, and as you find your W and whatever you need to drop in life, think about doing some things differently and getting new ideas. And even when you can't figure out how to get your donkey out of the well, the answer might come in ways you never ever imagined. Look, we're doing some very, very exciting things at CU SoCal, and we really want to do everything to move our joy needle over, move our fulfillment needle over. But a lot of us, including myself, we're going to have to drop our W's, and we're going to have to think more creatively. Have a super day and have a super week.